welcome back. We are currently on cloister in what's this town called? Quite big. Laplace's Garden, which is the town of the Order.
Miss Doyle's still on her break, but I'm happy to assist you.
Can you tell me about Miss Doyle?
Oh, she's a real top-of-class type. Smart, but also patient. I struggle sometimes with my advanced courses, but Persephone's been tutoring me after work hours. I'm just glad she doesn't mind teaching the same lesson twice. Anyway, I'd hate to waste any more of your free study period with my idle thoughts. Anything else I can help with? Apologies. As a junior celebrant, I'm only permitted to distribute caffeine at this time. But my colleague, Miss Doyle, will be able to assist with convictions when she's back on shift. Oh, is this another census? Or my previous answers not sufficient? The bi-weekly census about residency satisfaction. You have no idea what I'm talking about, do you? I could spend all day expositing on the benefits of the garden, but I think you'll experience much of it yourself. If you're permitted to stay, of course. Certainly. Here you are. Please imbibe responsibly.
Right. There are a few different quests going on. Oh yeah. So this Persephone wants us to check out the water stuff.
Researchers patronize the scientician surplus. Quality goods at algorithmic determined prices.
Interested in receiving our weekly selection of mathematical clues? Visit your local victory.
Welcome to the Scientician Surplus. I am the scientician in question. Any inquiries about the stock may be directed to me. Either you intend to buy or you intend to go without. It would be unethical for me to interfere with your decision-making process. It's there in the name, surplus. Of course you would.
Another pet. Collected 5 pets. What fucking weapon am I rocking here? I haven't used it yet, I think.
Every day treating the same strain. The operating theater is not conducting viewing dissections at this time. That is not an invitation to return to your study and perform exploratory surgery on yourself or a willing volunteer, just to be clear. There is curiosity and there is recklessness. I've learned not to trust the younger, more inexperienced members of our order to know the difference. But I trust you are here for a reason other than to discuss scalpel-happy novices. Obviously. Do you think we drink unfiltered snow melt? I'm quite sure I have no knowledge of what you're talking about. Are you feeling all right? Paranoia can be an early symptom of several more serious diseases. Apologies. I have so little that meets the threshold of my expertise. But I should not be projecting my wish for a challenge onto a patient. Let's forget this conversation. Is there anything else I can assist you with? That is best answered through observation. Here, have a look.
Let's have a look around here. Seems to be it.
Strange to see all this vacant space after the overcrowding at Matriarch's Mercy. Plenty of room for refugees here. If only the Order administrants got their act together.
I'm doing good. How are you going, Tom? Anyway, it's really good to see you. Hope you're doing good.
How did your hypothesis about the flowers fare?
Exposing them to melodic sound waves on a consistent basis.
Levin makes weird noises. I don't like it.
Test your hypothesis elsewhere.
Security personnel are permitted in this booth. Leave. Lift access is currently restricted. Keep moving.
Okay.
Agent, over here. Well, this is a welcome confluence of events. Why, without you, Gertie and I wouldn't be alive. And any hope of peace between the Order and Auntie's choice would be over. Dreadful, you know. Positively dreadful. How the peace talks were interrupted. I felt our two delegations were making real progress. Officially, not at present. Gertie and I have kept up communication through back channels in the hope that the discussions can be reconvened in due time. It is my earnest belief that this is the optimal course to chart for the Order, and for Arcadia. Though we could certainly use assistance from an outside force like yourself.
72 hours per week. It sounds insane. Like you don't even have time to do anything else, really, do you? So what are you going to do on your day off? Oh, shit. I don't want to say that.
Caution is the sign of a rational mind, my friend. Would it help to know that I have the utmost faith in our bishop to convince Auntie of the error of her corporate ways? But before you answer, Allow me to further delineate the potential requirements of this task. To begin, I believe you would need to put forth efforts in good faith with each of the two groups. Earning the trust of both sides is essential. Once you've worked your way up to meeting our respective leaders, you must convince them to consider joining forces. Oh, really? Perhaps the challenge rating is far less than I've hitherto calculated. Well, obviously you'll likely have to act as an intermediary between Ruth and Auntie, which will require some verbal finesse. But let's worry about that step upon reaching it.
I don't have any verbal finesse.
Transplendent. Remember, seek out ways to help both sides, engender trust. Gertie and I can let you know when it's time to move forward. In the meantime, I might recommend you work on honing your oratory skills. Our presiding bishop and Auntie Cleo can be challenging to debate with.
Sausage making, that sounds pretty cool. I did used to work in a sausage factory in New Zealand for, I think 6 or 7 months. But not in making the sausages, just in the dispatch area. Yeah, it sounds pretty brutal. What is Warno? Never heard of that.
I believe our group's combined efforts are in direct accordance with the plan.
Your admittance to the Chamber of Conflict Evaluation and Strategic Planning may come at a later date, as determined by the Office of the Oracle Laureate. The Chamber of Conflict Evaluation and Strategic Planning is currently off limits to non-essential order personnel.
A visitor? It's for the best that you're talking to me now instead of mid-work. I do seem to have a slight propensity for stabbing randomly with my tools when interrupted, but I suppose that's enough time spinning in the statements column. Speak away. What are you... Beckett. Another prediction that he hasn't seen fit to notify me about. A more cynical exemplar might posit his doing this to be intentional. If you're here, I imagine you aim to petition the presiding bishop for her support. Which is hardly a surprise. She is the most important individual in Arcadia.
An RTS set in the Cold War era. Warno. Sounds a bit like Command & Conquer.
I'm glad we're in accord. The presiding bishop's leadership allows the Order to act in Arcadia's best interest. Without her, we would be nothing. The corporate invaders will suck Arcadia of its resources and cast it to the wind. And the Protectorate are no better than machines. Moreover, once we solve the universal equation, it will benefit all of humanity. You, me, everyone. No more suffering, no more doubt. Well, I hope you'll see in time. There is a task of pivotal importance to the Order, but I cannot entrust it with just any come-by-chance outsider. As head of the Order's exemplars, it's my responsibility to assess whose aims upon Ruth may be malicious. Prove yourself to me first, then we may discuss the rest. That would be because I am. 3 years ago, I was 5th in succession as Artificer Laureate. Then Auntie's choice invaded. I leave the inference as to what transpired to you, but I believe I was chosen to make the difficult decisions and to remove the hurdles from the Order's path to enlightenment. In fact, one such hurdle is at the forefront of my mind. Cultists have come to infest Newton, an important Order heritage site. I have wanted them gone for months. Newton's value is purely spiritual. It contains nothing of strategic value, nor is it a useful staging point. It pains me, but I can't allow myself to commit resources to it. I can, however, commit personal funds and personal favors to individuals ready to weigh the numbers on our side. Journey to Newton. Eliminate the cultists to a person. Then we may speak of getting you an audience with Ruth. Newton contains the Six Pillars Chantry, which was one of the first temples founded after Arcadia's colonization. It's over 100 years old. The cultists are likely profaning it. But even if they aren't, I don't want them there. Our loss of Newton is symbolic. If we cannot protect it, how can we protect Arcadia? I'll withhold my appreciation until...
You should collect Azza from the ship first. Unless you don't want the benefits of her inside knowledge of the cult.
I do. Oh no, it's a single player, but no, for multiplayer has 1v1 up to 10v10. No base building. If it has no base building, how do you get your units and stuff? So like, do you not get like how do you get resources and stuff? Okay, well, anyway, we can do this quest for sure. It sounds reasonable.
Outsider.
Conciliator.
Hello, stranger. Mercenary. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Any undue rage you note in my tone is not at all related to the recent coup in my beloved protectorate. I do so dearly love residing in a nest of traitors, waiting for them to capitulate, unable to aid my fellows at home. It is truly a wonderful feeling.
This face looks like someone I've seen before, like not someone I know, but like on a movie or something really familiar. I think you want to be somewhere else.
I cannot leave. My sovereign-given task is to bring the Order back into the Protectorate fold. But now it seems as if I must also bring the Protectorate into its own fold. One deed at a time, Philo.
If you hate the Order so much, what are you doing here?
Hate is an inaccurate phrase. I find them arrogant and exasperating. Without the Protectorate, this little organization would have no holdings to squat in. I am here because the Sovereign has tasked me with bringing these wayward, pretentious toddlers back into the Protectorate fold. Unfortunately, my time here has taught me that only mass death has the power to change the local hearts and minds. Perhaps enough will be alive to save afterwards.
Is he planning on killing everyone? I didn't expect to see anyone from the Protectorate in the heart of the Order territory.
I am not just anyone. The duty of a liaison is of the utmost importance, requiring due diligence and delicacy. Though I suppose it a mite strange that this task fell to me, as I'd urge the vehement tanning of any wayward body bent on disrespecting the Protectorate, which would now include the Protectorate at large. Madness, slandering my beloved Sovereign, following that feckless consul, makes my blood boil. I fear it is not so simple. Though many within the Protectorate still trusted their leaders, a growing minority had begun to question their Sovereign. They argued the losses we've suffered would not have happened if he could truly lead, that his father would not have allowed this to happen. Pah! Anyone who didn't side with the Sovereign will pay, sooner or later. You may count on it.
You have a base income, imagine domination mode in Warno. Right, with zones. Have I seen Steel Division or Broken Arrow? I have not.
I've proudly served the Protectorate my whole life. Now look at it. Traitors from without, traitors from within. It's enough to make an old man despair. That consul, I never trusted that miserable bastard. His betrayal is so galling, I'd almost care to join the armed forces to bring him to justice myself. But my hands quaver with age, and the Sovereign has tasked me with my own duty. I must see it to completion before all else. Listen, you. The Protectorate does not do delegation. The Protectorate has a will that must be upheld. My presence here is a display of more faith than these fools deserve. Niceties are irrelevant, and likely detrimental to the task at hand. I am here to make the Order see the error of their ways. All other particulates are frivolous.
It's a special kind of RTS. Assume... I've played games like it, not for a long time though, like way back. Wouldn't even remember what they were called. But certainly like, World War II games, RTSs from the early 2000s, I played a fair amount of those. They might have been similar. It also sounds a bit like maybe Dawn of War 2 without the base building, but basically you capture certain, flags and then get points for it. So you basically set income depending on how many you captured. Those RTS have a specific kind of name? What are these old World War II games called? I think there's one that I played that has
Without the Artificer Laureate's permission.
that has already 8 games or something in the series. What are they called? Can't remember. Cannot remember. Right. Let's see here. She asked Anna. Actually, can you have a look at this area? Jill? Good night. Okay.
If you need to discharge any sputum, I ask you kindly aim such accretions away from my general direction. Thank you.
What are you doing?
Oh, just passing time by calculating high probability diametrics within an error margin of 0.05. I'm waiting for the results of a rather exciting prediction, you see. Sometime last year, I predetermined an occasion of momentous import would happen today, right here, at these very coordinates.
I'm thinking of, by the way, so I'm thinking of Sudden Strike and like Company of Heroes and stuff.
Unclear. I'm inclined to think this conversation may contain some portentous value, but I'll need to run a few more calculations to be sure. Lesley Beckett, Oracle Laureate, Seer Supreme, leader of the Department of Predictive Analysis, and not terribly good at informal introductions, evidently.
There was also a game called Axis and Allies.
Forgive me if I don't shake hands. I prefer to keep my skin microbiome free of exogenetic cells. You understand. But now, if I'm not mistaken, you must be the agent we've been expecting. I knew loitering at this location would yield results. I don't suppose you've stumbled upon any of our excogitation chapels around Cloister by chance? Excogitation chapels are order residencies where one can meditate in solitude on specific theorems relating to the plan. They're scattered all around Cloister. Prior to the war, such focused study led to all manner of breakthroughs, with audio logs routinely kept by the scientician in residence. In these unprecedented times, such logs could harbor hidden wisdom. However, with the war on, I've sadly been unable to get my hands on the last of these recordings. All confidential, I'm afraid. Many are still under peer review, but I can assure you, their value is commensurate with, why, the discovery of gravity, or has the potential to be.
That would be insane.
Oh no, I couldn't possibly ask you to endanger yourself by seeking out these logs. Cloister is rather treacherous, and some of the chapels are difficult to reach by design. However, if you happened upon these chapels and recovered these logs, I would most certainly be interested in their contents. By my reckoning, the amount of logs to be collected is 4. You have that? 4. No more, no less. Each chapel should have at least one somewhere inside. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. How do you know about that? I mean, that is quite the allegation. I deny it effusively. As you have cleverly sussed out, Laplace's garden is the subject of an experiment into social conditioning, or curating, if you will, through the use of therapeutic pharmacology. We have been administering a pharmaceutical to the population of the garden via the water supply that aids in emotional regulation. We call it perspective. It's odorless, harmless. Well, apart from the withdrawal, but I can assure you we have our best minds working on that little issue. Minor complication at worst.
You should end this. What kind of withdrawal symptoms are we talking?
Irritation, paranoia, increased desire to gamble, oddly enough. All manageable conditions, of course. We are increasingly operating with fewer resources, however, and most regrettably, we've had to eject more and more subjects from the experiment in order to continue it. In a plan-perfected universe, we would have ample time to wean participants off perspective before sending them out of the garden. But, alas, we do not live in that universe. Yet. Fortunately, your discomfort is not a determining factor in the continuation of the program. Primarily, though not exclusively, because you don't live here, at any rate. I have no interest in debating the ethics of this experiment, don't we all? Nothing beyond what I already included in my 165-page summary of the incident. Why do you ask? Of course I do. That is precisely why my energy is better channeled toward the future, to ensure such tragic events never happen again. Landon Wiley was afflicted by that which strickens all scholars, the desire to effect change, to advance the plan at any cost. Were his methods wrong? Unequivocally. Should he have come to me with his concerns? Undeniably. But was his conclusion categorically sound? That remains debatable.
What?
By the architect, no. The order needs less change, not more. I agree we need to return to our fundamentals, but I'm quite sure my definition of that differs from Wiley's and his cohorts. But let's move on to other topics, please. All this fractious talk is and what a history it is. It was given to us by the matriarch herself. She understood how vital our contributions would be to Arcadian society, which some have forgotten. It is why we're here, in fact. Cloister has 2 things in abundance: ice and geothermal power. Both made it the ideal location for the archive, and we've utilized its vast computational power ever since.
Sunstrike is close enough. You should try out Cossacks. It's a really old game, but also quite realistic.
Indeed. It's been a favorite bone, fought over by the dogs of war, but I have every confidence it will end up back under Order control sometime in the next year. Or 7.
Have I watched The Last Kingdom? I do have watched The Last Kingdom. Not the last season, but I think the first 3 or so, or 4. Loved it. Also, I've read some of the books as well, because it's actually after a book.
Oh, the garden is a marvel, isn't it? A prime example of how this colony could function if led by science and rationality instead of fear and oppression. Everything within the garden was meticulously selected by a committee of the Order's best archivists to provide for mental clarity and focus. My word, you should have seen the debates over the shrubbery. I've never witnessed such passionate discourse over foliage of all things.
Played it for 1,000 hours. Yeah, that's insane. The Last Kingdom? I loved The Last Kingdom. As I said, like, we haven't watched the last season. I've read some of the books, but Utrecht of Beppenberg is its name, right? No, we have watched it, actually. We've tried sites 2 times. And I think the last season wasn't out yet. No, we thought it was very cool. Very entertaining.
For Pete's sake,
What do you think of it?